everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you've likely seen on this channel, I've been doing more and more of these videos where I try other people's daily routines, and I am obsessed with them. There is something that is just so fascinating to me about examining how other people live and how their days flow, because sometimes I think it's kind of easy to feel like everyone around you just does the same exact thing as you every day. But when you really break it down and you explore different jobs, you realize just how wrong that is and how totally unique everyone's daily structure is. A huge thank you to Fabletics for sponsoring today's video and letting me dive into this topic, and stay tuned until the end of this video for a haul of some of my favorite outfits from their recent collection. Because I like this YouTube series, and I think you like this YouTube series, I've been spending a lot of my time thinking about what jobs out there are just beyond different from my own. You might have seen my recent video where I do my twin sister Allie's job in the financial services industry, or you might have seen me trying the morning routine and the workout plan of a fashion model in New York City. But I've been questioning lately who I know in my network that has one of the most extreme jobs that's just truly different from anything I know. And that was when I thought of Wendy Fortino. When I was about 9 years old, Wendy was my counselor at summer camp. She was the gymnastics coach, and she was always incredibly strong. I remember I always thought of her as being really strong, but when we reconnected on Instagram a little while back, I discovered that she's currently a professional figure competitor, a body transformation coach, and a bodybuilder.
My name is Wendy Fortino, and I am Lucie's gymnastics counselor from 20 years ago. She wants to be a professional bodybuilder for a day, and I happen to be a professional figure competitor for the IFBB Pro Leagues.
She was named Miss Figure San Francisco in 2008 before working her way up to the title of Miss Figure USA in 2011. And just one look at her will tell you that this girl is serious about muscles. She sent me over a 2-page plan to follow so that I could try living an exact day in her life. And it all started out with a 6 a.m. wake-up call and a cardio session. It's 6 o'clock a.m. and I'm not happy about it. So I'm not typically awake at this hour, let alone doing active cardio, but I plowed through on the elliptical for 30 minutes, and I did my best to maintain a steady heart rate between 135 and 145 beats per minute. At 7 a.m., I sat down for my first meal of the day, and spoiler alert, Wendy's plan for the day includes 5 meals. And I'm talking 5 big meals. So 7 a.m. was just the first 20% of my food intake for the day. Her breakfast called for 1 whole egg and 4 egg whites. So I set aside the additional 4 egg yolks for some chocolate chip cookies that my mother-in-law was gonna be making later that day. I scrambled everything together, and then I got the oatmeal going. Her recipe called for half a cup of oats measured uncooked, which I made into oatmeal, and then half a cup of cut up strawberries, which I put on top of the oatmeal. I measured out the coffee I was drinking to confirm that it was 8 ounces or 1 cup. It actually turns out that I typically drink more than this in a day, which I didn't know, but 8 ounces seemed really small to me. And then I added a 1/4 cup of almond milk and a small teaspoon of sweetener. Wendy's morning routine calls for 1 multi-mineral vitamin, so I just took one that my family had in the pantry, and also 1 tablespoon of cod liver oil. I searched for this one in the grocery store and I couldn't find it anywhere. And also, even if I were to have it delivered, it wouldn't have come in time, so Wendy just told me to skip the cod liver oil. I've heard of other people online who take a tablespoon of this daily, and truthfully, to me, it sounds hideously disgusting, like the furthest thing from anything I would ever want to put in my mouth. But please comment below if you take cod liver oil, and let me know if you've experienced any positive benefits from it, because I could be open to it. 8 to 9 a.m. was reserved for figure posing practice, and I think this was the most hilarious part of the day for me. I popped on a video that Wendy shared with me. I changed into a bikini and I tried some of these poses for myself. And the thing with these poses is it's not just about getting the positioning right, although that is part of it, but another major part of it is building up the stamina and the endurance to hold these poses for a long period of time.
Just like any other pose, your goal is to create the perfect V shape from the ground up.
Apparently, at many of these competitions, you could be on stage standing in these poses for anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes in a row. And unless you've adequately practiced holding them, you just simply won't have the endurance to stay in place.
Wave when they tell you to take your place back to the center where you came from.
At 10 a.m. it was time for meal 2. So this was a smallish one, but it was still pretty filling. It was 1 medium apple, 1 hard-boiled egg, and 10 asparagus. The biggest issue that I ran into here was that the only asparagus available at my grocery store were huge asparagus. Like not those skinny sticks, but giant tree trunks. So the hard-boiled egg and the apple were easy. I mean, I wasn't particularly hungry yet, but for me, it's always kind of easy to get something sweet like an apple down. But 10 huge asparagus at 10 a.m. was rough. My snack is ready. Cut up apple, 10 asparagus, and a hard-boiled egg. These are huge asparagus. So here we go. What are you having for snack time? An egg? Ah!
Egg is the appetizer. You okay with it? What's wrong?
It's hot! So I decided I don't like asparagus. I'd be happy to never eat an asparagus again after this. I'm honestly not sure I'm ever eating asparagus again in my life, at least not the thick kind. And now I'm just a little bit upset because I always said to Michael that if we ever got a dog, I would want to name him Asparagus and call him Gus for short. And that whole name might just be ruined for me now, so TBD. So between that meal and the next meal, there were only 3 hours. So at 1 p.m., it was already time for my third meal of the day, which was a pretty large lunch. It called for 4 ounces of tilapia, 1 cup of broccoli, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 cup of white rice measured cooked. I used a scale to make sure I was getting the exact 4 ounces of fish that she recommended, and then I measured everything else precisely. I added a little lemon juice to the fish and pan-seared it, and then I ate this meal outside. And it did take a little bit longer than expected to finish it, but I was able to finish it all. I have a tiny bit left and I don't have much time because I have to get to my workout downstairs, so I'm just gonna finish this really fast. And then I have about 5 minutes before my workout. Turns out I like tilapia. And just like that, 60% of my meals for the day were down.
I'm gonna have you do your workout in the afternoon. Try to get some rest, maybe in between meals.
So on Wendy's schedule, that meal was scheduled at 1 p.m. and my workout was scheduled for 2 p.m. But unfortunately, because it did take a lot of time to prepare that lunch, I wound up heading down to this workout about 5 minutes after finishing lunch. So I did not really have adequate time to digest everything, but that's okay. Wendy recommends that before and after this workout, I take 1 scoop of BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids. So in case you've never heard that term before, BCAAs are said to build muscle, to decrease muscle fatigue, and alleviate muscle soreness. But I also did not have this supplement available. I didn't already have it at home, and I just would not have been able to get it in time to shoot this video, so Wendy told me I could just skip the BCAAs. But if I did really want to do exactly what she was doing, I would have had that added before and after the workout. Okay, it's 2 p.m. Time for my workout. Ooh, Michael's down here doing his workout. I went through her recommended workout regimen and I asked Michael to help me out here just to figure out the proper weights that fit with my body and the level that I'm currently at. Michael is not a personal trainer, but he has worked with many personal trainers one-on-one before, so I trusted him to guide me here. I started out with 5 minutes on the rowing machine, and then I did everything she suggested, from wide grip lat pull downs to chest presses to a bunch of lifts with dumbbells, and then I finished off strong with 5 minutes of going all out on the rowing machine. I did this entire circuit 3 times through and I was exhausted afterwards. I literally collapsed on the floor. And 2 hours later, it was time for my next meal, meal 4 of 5. So we're approaching being 80% complete with the food for the day. This meal called for 4 ounces of chicken breast, 2 cups of spinach, a quarter of a white onion, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 tablespoon of Kerrygold grass-fed butter. This meal was the strangest one for me because it was just such a bizarre time for me to eat a full meal. It was basically right in between lunchtime and dinner time, and I was just not hungry in the slightest. But I followed her protocol anyway, and I made the meal. The best part of this meal for me, surprisingly, was the tablespoon of grass-fed butter. So Wendy told me that I could eat this like icing just by licking it off a spoon. She said that's how some people eat it, but I decided to include it in my sauteed veggies, and it actually made them delicious. So if you've ever been to the hibachi restaurant Benihana before and you've seen how much butter they put on everything, you'll know what I mean. I tried my best to take my mind off the fact that I was eating by reading a book during this meal, and I'm currently in the middle of Layla F. Saad's book, Me and White Supremacy. I would highly recommend it, and reading a book while you eat is a great way to take your mind off the food and just mindlessly consume, which was what I really needed to do for meal 4 of 5. 5 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. was one of my favorite parts of the day, stretching time. Wendy sent me a MadFit YouTube video to follow, and it was actually a video that I had done before and was pretty familiar with, and it was just a great way to cool down, to give my body some time to digest and just relax before I had to get up again to prepare my 5th meal of the day just 2 hours later. At 7 p.m. it was time for dinner, and the rest of my family was having breakfast for dinner, which is one of my favorite dinners ever, but I had to forego that obviously to have the last meal on the list. Meal 5 called for 4 ounces of salmon, 2 cups of spinach, 1/4 of a white onion, 1/4 cup of mushrooms, and 1 whole zucchini. After everything else I had already eaten in this day, all I wanted, to be honest, was to skip dinner entirely. But if I had to go with option 2, it would have been breakfast for dinner. Something like sweet pancakes or waffles or chocolate chips or something that was not another meal with a protein and vegetables. But I went forward with Wendy's plan, and instead I made this plate with salmon and sauteed veggies. I pan-seared the salmon for a little bit, and then I popped the entire skillet into the oven to bake it. And somehow, some way, do not ask me how, I finished this meal and completed 100% of the food intake for the day. Her dessert suggestion for me was a homemade popsicle made out of water and a scoop of those BCAAs again. But I didn't have popsicle molds, and as you know, I also did not have the BCAA powder. And to be honest, I just didn't feel like I could fit anything else into my stomach, so I skipped dessert altogether, which is sad and which is highly rare for me. And the last item on Wendy's list for me was a 45-minute to 1 hour sweat bath. She told me to make the water slightly uncomfortable, AKA very hot, and to add in some Epsom salts.
I usually take a sweat bath. I like to just get rid of toxins and restore and replenish, and I just usually get a really good night's sleep. When I'm in the heat of my contest prep, every single thing that I do to get my body to have that edge and to have the most quality physique I can possibly create, I do.
I am about to take a 45-minute sweat bath. I have with me a liter of water. This was a bottle that my family just finished. It was tonic water, and now I filled it with water. I'm gonna drink this throughout the bath, and I'm gonna hope I sweat, so I'll let you know. After the bath was full enough, I stepped in, and it was hot. It was actually really difficult to get myself in there. Ha! Ow. Woo! But once I was in, I forced myself to stay put, and eventually my skin got used to the temperature, even though I was getting really red, and I really did start to enjoy it. She told me to stay in for at least 45 minutes to make sure I was breaking a sweat and to drink at least a liter of water while I sweat. I kept sipping from my water bottle to make sure I was staying hydrated, and by the end of it, I was definitely sweating. It was really, really hot in there, but it felt good, and it actually made me pretty tired. By the time I got out, I felt sleepier than normal, and I think it probably helped me sleep well that night.
Bed by 10 p.m. Lucy, I don't know how late you stay up, but I'm gonna need you to get in bed by 10 p.m. so that you can get your beauty rest and wake up feeling good. You're probably gonna be sore, but that's okay. And if any of you are crazy enough to follow along with Lucy, let me know. My name is Wendy Fortino. My Instagram is @WendyFortino. I would love to know if any of you decided to be crazy like Lucy.
So Wendy told me to be in bed by 10 p.m., which is also highly unusual for me, but I made sure to get in bed at 10. I watched TV with Michael for 30 minutes, and then we fell asleep. And that was my day doing a bodybuilder's routine. It was long, it was filled with a lot of cooking, a lot of food prep, a lot of eating. Honestly, I did not feel like there was much time in the day for me to do any work or to be that productive because so much of my time was spent preparing food or exercising, but I realized that that food prep and that exercise is actually Wendy's job and livelihood, so it makes total sense. And now I promised you a haul of some of my favorite workout clothes that I'm wearing right now, so I'm gonna toss this over to a clip that I shot earlier this week showing you some of my favorite items. So here are some of my personal favorites from the Fabletics June collection. Don't forget, at the end of this video, if you click on the link in my description box, you can become a Fabletics VIP and get any 2 bottoms for just $24. Okay, so starting with this seamless sports bra, this is one of my absolute favorites. I kind of think of it as being more of a loose-fitting tank top instead of a sports bra because there are no wires, there's no padding, it's just really soft and really stretchy. The back is a low-cut V, which is really pretty. I love the neutral color of it, and it's just incredibly comfortable. I could keep it on all day. And it's very similar to the feel of this sports bra right here, which is from the Sculpt Knit family, which means that the fabric is really stretchy and really comfortable, and it has one of those awesome strappy backs. Onto some of my favorite bottoms. So if you're just one of those people that likes wearing solid black bottoms, this is a great option for you because it does have a perforated design that makes the leg kind of interesting and cool to look at, even though it's just black. These are such a great fit, and even though I do gravitate towards the brighter colors, every so often I love wearing a black bottom because then you can pair it with any top. And one of my favorite sports bras to pair it with is this white one. This is one of those double layered sports bras, so the top layer is mesh and the bottom layer is not. When you're wearing it, it kind of looks like you've layered 2 bras on top of one another, which I love, but it's actually just one piece, all connected, and it has a very cute strappy back also. Because this one is mesh, it's really breathable, so it's great for a sweaty extreme workout. Now onto the bright colors that you know I love. This is one of my absolute favorite sets in the Sculpt Knit collection. These hot pink leggings also have those perforations down the side. I can't even begin to describe how Sculpt Knit fabric feels for someone who's never felt it, but just imagine the stretchiest fabric ever that just slips over your skin with ease. And imagine a sports bra that when you're going to put it over your head actually stretches very easily. And the sports bra is kind of like a top because it's one of those low cut designs, and the entire thing has perforations. So not only is this one of the cutest workout sets, but it's also one of the most comfortable, and because it's filled with holes, it is incredibly breathable and light. All right, 2 more. So this first one is from the July 4th capsule collection. There's the Star sports bra and the Star leggings. Paired together, we've got an all-inclusive set, sports bra and bottom. I love the cutout in the back of this sports bra, and the design down the capris with the stars and stripes is really cute. And these are perfect. They just hug my waist, 360, no gaps allowed. I'm also wearing leggings from, I think it was the May collection, and the same thing is happening. As you can see, no hole. And last but not least, I saved the best for last because I have been searching far and wide for a bodysuit for the longest time now, and I finally found the best one that is stretchy and comfortable and soft and the greatest color ever. So don't forget to click the link in my description box and sign up to become a Fabletics VIP today so that you can get any 2 bottoms for $24. That is such an incredible deal, and Fabletics makes workout gear for people of all body types and all shapes and sizes, so I know you're gonna find the perfect fit, and I know you're gonna love it. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button down below and to hit the little bell next to it so you're always alerted when my new videos go up. And if you have any particular jobs or people out there whose daily routines you think would be really interesting to see, comment them below now. Thanks for coming back, and I'll see you next time.